Hello, we're live, and I'm not sure if my guests can see me or hear me, but I hope they can. But I have some special guests here with me tonight. Aisha, can you see me? Can you guys see me?
Hi.
Hello.
Are you guys able to see me? I don't
I
know if
don't
they
think
can
she
hear
can
me.
hear us.
I don't know if you can hear me or see me. Can you guys see and hear me now? Hello?
Hmm.
That's so
Says we're
weird.
live. Hi.
Hi.
No, I am here, but I'm not even sure why they can't hear me. And so I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the sound, and we're going to get started. Aisha, can you hear me?
I'm sorry we're live. We're supposed to speak, but we can't really see anything, so we're not sure. But just wanted to say hello, beautiful people. If you are watching, which we have no idea, but if you are, thank you for tuning in. I'm Regine.
And I'm Michael Aruma, aka Mike O.
It's my oh.
Can you guys hear me? I'm not even
That's
sure they
awesome.
can hear me, and I
And
don't know
Aisha just
why
left the
it's
call.
showing on
So
the.
we're having some technical difficulties right now, but
We are
we'll get that
having some
figured out,
technical
if they're watching
difficulties,
right
and I'm trying to figure out.
Maybe Mike O should sing us a song.
now. Maybe I just sing y'all a song.
Oh, I can't sing, so I'm gonna let him do all the singing.
No, I don't think that's fair. You have to do it. Use your specialty. You have to do something.
Hello,
There you
it's
go.
me.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, there's Miss Yolanda.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Yolanda.
Hello. I could hear
We
you
can't
guys.
hear you.
You
Can't
can't hear
hear.
me?
No, we can't hear.
You can't.
Your mic is muted.
I just unmuted my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
I
can.
can
Oh
hear
my
you now.
goodness. I could hear everything you guys were saying. I'm like, I'm here. I'm here. I'm not even sure what happened. But I want to welcome everybody to Table Talk. That has never happened. So we're going to keep it going. But you guys were good. You guys are professionals. I was loving, like, Michael was getting ready to sing. We're going to do this thing.
That's fun.
So I just want to thank you guys for coming on. And we're really just going to have
Hi.
a good time tonight just talking about entrepreneurship. And I'm going to start off by having you guys just introduce yourselves. And Aisha, I'm going to start with you. Just introduce yourself and tell those that are watching a little bit about what you do. Okay.
Aisha.
She might be a little frozen. Okay, Michael, I'm going to come to you. If you'll go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now. What's going on with you right now?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Mike O. I'm originally from Nigeria. Currently, I'm a student at Lipscomb University, and I'm also, chasing my dream as a musician, as a singer and songwriter here in Nashville, Tennessee. So, yeah, that's a little bit of what I do, and about myself. So,
All right. What do you have going on right now?
okay, so what I have going on right now, I'm just in the process of like writing a lot of a lot of music, production, and I have a bunch of shows coming up in the next couple of months, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm opening for a big Nigerian artist in Atlanta on Saturday.
Yes.
So I'm really, really excited about that, and I can't wait for that opportunity. And then as well as like school, just trying to balance everything out at the same time.
Yes.
But I'm really excited, man. This next couple of months is gonna be really, really exciting. I have a lot of great stuff coming up. So
Great. I'm
yeah,
so excited to hear about that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that balance thing. We're going when we get to
and I
talking, some
think we're frozen
questions
again.
around how you balance and make it happen. Thanks.
Well, since we're frozen, I guess I'm gonna brag a little bit about Mike.
Go
Oh,
ahead, raise your
I think you are very talented. I was actually honored to come to your show that you had at Lipscomb at your school. So, I mean, yeah, I've heard of Mike. Oh, and to see you live, like I felt like you were like the next Usher. I was like, oh my gosh, like I know Usher, like, but it's the Nigerian Usher. So you're really good at what you do, and I'm gonna say keep it up. Like I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Regine.
Right,
You are
Reggie,
so welcome.
you can go ahead and introduce
I
yourself.
think we're still having technical difficulties right now.
Can,
But
can you hear me, Reggie?
thanks for joining in. If you're joining in now, so thank you for joining us. I think we're in the process of introducing ourselves, but I'm not sure if it's my turn.
It is
But
your turn. It is your turn, Regine. Regine, it's
I
your
hear
turn. You
music.
can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey. And it's not Mike O singing.
Go
That's
ahead.
not me.
Go ahead, Regine, and introduce yourself. Regine, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay.
Can
Oh,
you hear me?
hey, we're back. Hello, everybody.
This internet
I'm
is showing out today.
I know. There's really not much to say, but I'm Regine Pierre. Born and raised in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I've actually been in Nashville, straight from Haiti to Nashville, which makes no sense. Nobody can understand that. Not Miami, not Boston, not New York, but Nashville. But I love Nashville. I'm actually a nurse here in Nashville, and when I'm not nursing, God knows where I am, somewhere around the world traveling, running a business, and giving back to the community who helped raise me and taught me everything I know. And I'm a huge advocate for clean water. I work with the church right.
All righty, thank you. Aisha, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Aisha Walker. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, so I'm not from Nashville either, but I came way by coming to Fish University. As far as my educational background, I have a associate's degree in early childhood education where I taught preschool.
Wow, I can't believe this internet today. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Ah, it is a mess. Aisha,
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Where I got my degree in religion and philosophical studies from Fish University. Shout out to Fish. And then I got my master's in mental health counseling. And I'm still on that journey to pursue a PhD. And so that's kind of a little bit about me. I work for Cigna now in the behavioral health department. So I deal with people that are suicidal or have some type of major psychotic disorder. So anything in the behavioral health field, I've done individual therapy as well as residential therapy for teen boys and girls that have been abused, whether it be sexually or verbally or physically. And also I've done family therapy, and I love to do group therapy. So that's just a little background about me.
great. I want to start by asking you guys, how do you balance it all? You guys do a lot, and you're young people, and a lot of young professionals will be watching. And I want to hear, how do you balance? I know Regine and Aisha, you have a business that you've started. Mike, oh, you're in school and working on your music. And Aisha, if you mute see if you can mute. You may not be able to mute because you're in that Starbucks. But I want to hear about how you have balanced it all. How do you get it all done? Michael, I'm going to start with you. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want you to share, how do you balance it all?
Oh, okay. So I'm going first, right?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay. Well, for me, I just think it's about scheduling your time. Pretty much for me, what I do is I just look at my week and I schedule. I know what time I'm going to have my classes, and then I know what time I'm going to need to do my homework, and then I also know
Uh-huh.
what time I need to go to work, like pick up my nieces from school. Then I try to keep all my music stuff for the weekends because I don't really have any other like work stuff to do in the weekend. So I try to get all my school stuff done during the week, so I have enough time for the weekend to do music. And usually that's when my shows fall too. Most of the time it's during the weekend. So I kind of just like schedule my time to where I focus on school Monday through Friday, and then Friday evening till Sunday night I'm working on music, or planning my music, or planning what to do for as far as music and stuff. So for me it's all about just looking ahead of time and scheduling out your week, and seeing like what time am I going to put to music, what time am I going to put to school and work and all that stuff. So for me that's what I do usually.
What's been the biggest struggle with that?
The biggest struggle is that it's just being creative because as a musician, I think it's very important as people who are creative in general. Like we all get ideas at random times. We can't really schedule when we get our ideas. So on a Wednesday night, when I'm doing my homework and I get a great idea for a song, I have no choice but to just record it on my phone and wait till the weekend before I put those ideas down. Or if a great opportunity comes up like a show that's out of town or something, but I have a test the next day, so I can't really go out of town and get back in time for the test, or stuff like that. So that's very, very challenging. And I mean, I know a day is gonna come where I'm gonna have full, I'm gonna give full time to my music and stuff. But right now, that's the most challenging part for me, just not being able to dive into my creativity and my craft, 100%. So yeah.
Great. Regine, I know that you travel a lot. You're in Haiti. You're in the pageants. You're nursing. You have a boutique. Tell us, how do you balance it all, and what inspires you to continue to do all the work that you're doing?
I really don't know how I do what I do. It's just one day at a time, one day at a time. It's all about time management. My boutique, I'm just kind of lucky to have a great business partner, so she pretty much take care of that for me. I just go in and do inventory and things like that, but for the majority of the week, I don't really have to be there because she's there. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
As far as traveling, it's just about your calendar. I mean, I have two jobs. I have a full-time and a part-time. I don't know how I do. I really don't. I don't know what to say. But time management really, really helps. And if I can't live without my calendar, you can ask me, hey, I'm inviting you to this and that. If I don't have my calendar and say yes right then and there and put it in my calendar, we have a problem because I might double book myself, which I have done before, with me saying yes too fast. But it's all about time management. Little sleep. I don't really sleep a lot. So, which is not healthy, by the way. It's not healthy. You need to sleep.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Aisha, tell me a little bit about how you balance all the work that you're doing.
Okay, well, I kind of put everything in its own basket. I categorize when I'm at work. I try to really, really just focus on my job at hand there. And then, of course, I'm a mom. So when I go home, I try to, take that time out to do playtime and time to, kind of see, even though he's only one, say the ABCs and sing a song and march up and down the hallway. So I try to take that time to do that. And then I always make sure I set a time out for God to do my prayer time. And then I begin my business. After I've done my devotional time and my prayer time, then I say every day, at least I need to be giving 2 hours to my business, doing research, seeing, how I can get better. And so just by compartmentalizing it, not mixing it all up together, because sometimes, that can happen. But just sitting down, writing it down, jotting it down, and like she said, your calendar. You have to have a calendar. So I don't know what I would do without my phone. I use my phone, Google Calendar. So that's what I do.
Great. I know a lot of times that what happens is I've always been able to juggle a lot, and people always would ask me, how do you do all of that? And it is about scheduling, and it is about also saying no to those things you're not supposed to be involved in. Because when you're a giver, Aisha, if you would put yours on mute for a minute. That's okay. That's okay. When you're a giver and when you're always involved and people are always contacting you, sometimes we think we're supposed to say yes to everything.
Right.
And we're actually not supposed to say yes to everything. So we need to understand in this season, what are we really called to do? Even if you're good at that thing, are you really supposed to be saying yes at that time? And so being able to balance it all is really important. When I'm coaching and training business owners and entrepreneurs and young professionals, we really talk about, in this season, what are you really supposed to be doing? So it's really good to have that calendar, but also to know what in this season, what are you really supposed to be working on? And it could be some of these things that you see in front of you maybe for later, or they may be a yes. So being able to discern, is it time to be saying yes to some things and when it's time to be saying no to something. So thank you guys for sharing that. I get that question a lot from young professionals trying to balance it all and move their career to the next level. One of the questions that came in is, what are 2 things you think young professionals struggle with? What are 2 things that you think young professionals struggle with? What would you say those 2 things are, Regine?
I think we've already mentioned it. Like, time management is huge. Not everybody knows how to juggle different things, and you kind of have to prioritize. A lot of people don't know how to prioritize. I mean, you can't do everything. Even me working as a nurse, that's the first thing they taught us, is like, you have to know how to prioritize. You can't do everything in your 12-hour shifts. So prioritizing, which kind of ties in with time. And then I would say just when to relax a little, you know? just relax. Sometimes you've got to relax. Like, I have to remind myself, you've got to relax sometimes, Regine. And this is where my traveling comes in. So when I travel, that's pretty much about the only time I get to relax.
Great. That rest part is important, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't give out. We need to be giving out of our overflow, not the leftovers, and we're dragging in and just want to give them a little bit. But when we're resting and taking, and I'm guilty of that. I've never needed a lot of sleep, but I can tell when my body says, okay, enough is enough. I need you to go to sleep. I need you to rest. So, Mike, what would you say you've seen from even college students, other musicians and singers? What are some of the things you think the biggest things that they struggle with?
Well, Regine mentioned 2 good ones. But I think one of the other things that most young people struggle with is the fact that they want to do everything at the same time, which kind of works with time management too. But at the same time, it's like we can't have our hands in everything at the same time. A jack of all trades is a master at none.
Yeah.
For me, I had to, like, when I first came to America and I was trying to get into the music, of course I wasn't as good as I want to be. So I wasn't getting a lot of opportunity to record with producers and songwriters and stuff like that. So I had to learn that stuff for myself. I had to start producing for myself. But after a while, I started looking at it like, yo, am I gonna keep, doing everything, or do I want to just focus on like maybe a couple of those things and try and get myself better at those things? So recently, I kind of gave up the producing because God has been opening some doors as far as like producers for me. So I just think it comes natural too. I mean, God brought the producers, and I realized, okay, that's something I need to stop, and start focusing more on my singing and my songwriting, and make sure like I can be the best that I want, that I really, I'm trying to be the best that I think I can be, as far as that. So just like having a focus on what you want to do instead of just putting your hands in too many things at the same time, that would be the first thing. And then one thing also that I feel like my generation struggle with is fear. Fear of stepping out. So many people have what it takes, or they have the passion for it and the God-given desire on the inside of them to do their businesses and to follow their dreams and stuff, but just because of the fear of failure or the fear of what it takes and the struggle, they just they just give up even before starting. So, I think fear is one thing that a lot of people struggle with today, and some people would not say it's fear, but if you really look deep down, at the reason why they're not chasing their dreams or following that business or trying to chase that goal is just because they're afraid of failure. So
Exactly. Thank you, Michael. Aisha, what would you say to that question?
Okay, I'm going to put myself in there along with the young people. I think sometimes we don't ask enough questions.
That's
Sometimes, they think that a question could be a dumb question, but for young entrepreneurs, no question is a dumb question. You don't have to be embarrassed. So that philosophy that my mom used to have, always ask, raise your hand and ask. If you have a mentor or if you have, a training coach that is helping you along, ask as many questions, as you can. I mean, really sit at their feet and get all that you can get from them. So ask many questions. And then I think another thing is that we don't write the vision and make it plain. We just leap on out there, we get an idea, and we just do it. But my mom always used to say, have you counted up the costs? Have you really sat down and counted up the costs? And that kind of goes along, what Rebecca was saying was write the vision and actually making it plain and coming up with a strategy that is clear, precise, and where you're going. It wasn't until my mentor that was going to invest in my business made me write a business plan. And once I wrote the business plan, I was actually able to see my vision clearly, and I was able to move forward. So writing the vision and also asking questions. I think those two things that we, as young people, and even including myself, sometimes we don't do.
great. Yes, I meet with a lot of people that have great ideas, and I have to really pull them back from the idea and say, let's start writing down what it's going to cost, what skills do you not have that you're going to need somebody, and be able for them to gather their network of people to help them move that vision forward. So the writing of the vision is so critical. I don't care if it's a long-term plan of 5 years. If you have a plan and you have a roadmap, you know when you're off. You know when you're in a lane that you shouldn't be in. You know when you're doing stuff you have that if it doesn't help you to get to that ultimate goal, you shouldn't be doing it. And I don't mean like fun stuff you want to do, but if you have a goal of a place that you're trying to get to, a destination, you want to sing before 5,000, you want to get water in a country for millions. I mean, and if what you're doing is not helping you to get there, then you have to reevaluate whether the things that you're working on is really getting you to that ultimate goal. And I think for a lot of young people, I think sometimes what I see is they see the person that's already there, and it looks easy.
Right.
I tell everybody all the time, I said, I love that Tyler Perry is doing well. I love that when I see people that are doing phenomenal things and they've made it to that other side, Bishop Jakes and some other people in the movie industry, the music industry, but we don't know their story. We don't know their backstory.
Right.
But we want what they have, but we don't want to do what they had to do to get there. I remember reading Tyler Perry's story. He was homeless. I was like, Lord, I don't want to be homeless in my car.
Right.
And so I really want my own story. I want my own testimony. And I know there's going to be some things that I'll go through to get to the place that I need to get to. But I think a lot of times when people already have arrived at that particular point, not that they're done, but they've arrived at a particular point, there's been some stories, some backstories behind how they arrived there. And so being able to really, really look at our situation and say, okay, am I on the right road to get me to where I know my destination is?
Right.
Thank you guys for sharing that. The next question I have is, why did you decide to do who inspired you, or what inspired you to start doing what you are doing now? Regine, I know you opened up a boutique, but I know you're a nurse. What interests you to make you want to open up a boutique?
Well, that's a really good question. Thank you. It's funny. So I do pageants. So I'm around women that are my size or smaller, more smaller than my size, but and then one of my pageant sisters, okay, Miss Montana. And I remember I looked at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. You know, she's plus size. And here she is competing with all these women that are just, so skinny. I don't remember, she did have her breakdown moment during fitness competition before she went on stage. But her whole platform is about how she's confidently beautiful. And, you know, she was saying, like, she knows she's not going to win the pageant. She knows that. But she said, I want people to know that I am beautiful, that the size doesn't matter. And it was just like, wow, you know, that to me, she won the pageant to me. I'm sorry, I love whoever won. I do love you. But to me, like, wow, she is so confident. I mean, people do pageants for different reasons. Okay. Not everybody wants to go out there to win. Some people have fear, of whatever, public speaking fear or whatever the reason is. But seeing this woman, and then I was just looking, I was just like, uh, is this? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can. It kind of froze up a little bit, but I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened.
I think
I'm
it's
good.
internet. You're okay.
I don't know what the last thing y'all heard. But anyways, the inspiration was, yeah, I'm back. The inspiration was her, and I wanted everybody to feel beautiful. I didn't want to just get clothes just for people my size. So my boutique, I go up to 3X.
Okay.
So I want to make sure everybody can just walk in and feel beautiful. You know, it's not where, it's how you wear it. So I'm open to everyone. We don't turn down business just because of how big you are or how small you are.
That's great. And I know that I want to keep going with you on this. I know that you're doing a lot. I think when people think about pageants, they just think about the dresses and the competition and the talent. But it's a bigger platform to really do some humanitarian work, and I know you have done that. Share a little bit with those that are watching how your opportunity to be in those pageants have really allowed you to really give back in some amazing ways.
Well, you've got to keep in mind that there are different pageant systems, okay?
Yeah.
Every pageant has their own thing. You have the pageant that is the bikini wears, like the points for the bikini is more. So I did the Miss International pageant, the international pageant system, and 40% of the score is pretty much about your humanitarian work. What are you doing? So that's what draws me into that. I've never thought I'll do pageants in my life. Yes, I did modeling, but pageantry was never my thing. But I've always been a firm believer. I've always been an advocate for clean water because growing up in Haiti, that's one thing that I struggle with because I remember just as far back as I can remember, you know, being 4 you know, I'm carrying 2 gallons of water, like the amount of time we spent walking, and it wasn't like a set spot to where like, hey, every day this is where we're gonna go get the water. No, you know, we just had to walk and walk up until we get water. So I've always been a big advocate for that, and so when the idea came about me doing a pageant, you know, hey, you get more awareness out of that. I didn't really think about winning. I was like, well, if I can reach more people, sure, why not? And then, wow, I won Miss Haiti, like my country. Like, what? Like, seriously? Like, did that really happen? So it was surreal. It was surreal because I didn't go in it like I'm gonna win. But it's just one of those things like, oh, wow. So I felt like I really, I told my story and shared the work that I've done because I've raised a lot of money for not just one different organization. I've worked with the Better Health for Haiti organization after the 2010 earthquake because we had all these people that had cholera. So I worked with them, did fundraiser in Atlanta. And, of course, I work with the Thirst Project, and they're all over Africa, and right now we're heavily in Swaziland. So yeah, and then I did a documentary, went back to Haiti, and it's just kind of crazy how things change. You would think things are getting better, but there was a river not too far from my grandmother's house, which is where we used to go get water, and it is completely dried out, and there was like one little stream, and I was talking to the girls that were waiting. They said they'd be there since 6 a.m. And I went down there about 2 or 3 p.m. and they only had like 2 buckets filled. So they've been sitting this whole time. That little stream that's coming out, it it's just heartbroken. It's just heartbroken to see, you know, because I see them and I see me, because this is the life, that's the path that I was heading in. And so that's why I want to bring more awareness, because here in the United States, we are privileged enough to have water in our home. We can take showers right here inside our home. You know, we have faucet that has water. You know, our refrigerator has water that comes out of it. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I didn't have that. I didn't have that opportunity. Before I could think about taking a shower, I had first to think about, where am I going to get the water to take a shower and brush my teeth? Or, you know, hey, after school, before I can eat, I have to go get water so so my mother can cook. So it was just like something that I can never forget. And this is why I'm appreciative of every little thing. I don't take anything for granted, because I know where I came from, and I will never forget where I came from. But I do want to put a stop to it. I don't want students or kids to be spending more time going out fetching dirty water. I wouldn't even say clean water, because it's not clean. It looks clean to them, but it's not clean. I want them to spend more time on their education, because it's just time wasted. You know, we don't have electricity. I used to study by candlelight. You know, we might have electricity probably for an hour. They take it away, and then we don't know when it's coming back. So I studied by candlelight at night, and it's just, it was just hard. So I'm doing my part. I know I'm just one person, but one person, I believe one person can make a difference in this world. I'm working on some things. So we'll see.
Great. Thank you, Reggie. And it's so important that we don't forget where we come from. And if we're able to serve others, what we're ultimately wanting to do is going to happen. But it's that servant leadership piece that we have to really focus on, as well as we grow and build our own careers and our own businesses. If we're not reaching back to help someone else, we're really missing it. And so, Mike, I want to come to you and ask you, how did you get started in really being in music? I kind of know a little bit about your story, but I want you to share it with those that are watching. And then after you share that, talk about what ways are you giving back? Because I know you're from Nigeria. I tell everybody I'm a Nigerian. When I went to Nigeria, I claimed that I am Nigerian. I am from Nigeria.
Niger.
Niger. Talk a little bit about how you got started in the music and the writing, and then how you see yourself giving back as well. Because I want young people to understand it's not just about growing what your business or your career, but it's also about giving back.
Right. So, like you said, I'm from Nigeria, and just ever since I was a young kid, like my mom used to call me the life of the party, because whenever we have those birthday parties and stuff, I'll be the one in the middle dancing. Whenever everybody's just sitting down, you know, I'll be the one dancing, trying to entertain the crowd, stuff like that. So, as a kid, I've always loved that attention in the first place. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I always love that attention of just being the entertainment guy, you know. Whenever I show up, I love, like, you know, when everybody's just quiet and I come in there and start dancing, and it just brings the mood of everybody up. So I've always been that as a kid. And then, you know, growing up in church, you know, my mom made sure that I was always in church after school, you know, so there's nothing more to do there but join the choir and join the dance team, you know. So I started doing that, and that's where I pretty much found my passion for music and for, you know, just entertainment and performing and stuff. And I started realizing, like, the kind of impacts that you can have even with the music, because music is like, it's like music has no language, is no barriers, no discrimination. Like, somebody from Chinese might not even know what you're saying on the song, but they can feel the song, you know. So music is just something that has, like, so much of an impact on people's lives and stuff. So the older I started getting, I started realizing how much impact I can have even with music, you know, on my generation and you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, I started in church, you know, singing in church and stuff, and then slowly started learning how to write. My first song was when I was 9 years old. I wrote a song, and my mom, I sang it to my mom, and my mom actually liked it, and she was in the choir, so her opinion was very, very, very important for me. So when she told me she liked it, I was like, okay, cool, maybe I can do this, you know. So ever since then, I just started writing songs. Like, from maybe 13, when I was 13 years old, I started writing songs like every day. You know, it was difficult for me to write because I was not a good writer, and I'm still learning even as we speak today. But at that time, I started doing it every day just so I can get in that, 10,000 hours. Because my dad always used to tell me, he said, if you want to be really good at what you do, you have to put in that 10,000 hours. So
Yeah.
right when I was 13 years old, I just started writing like every day. I tried to write every day, and stuff. And how I see myself giving back, I'm glad you brought that question up because I've been thinking about that too. Even back from where I'm from right now, it's crazy the kind of support that I even have right now. And I'm not even doing anything big yet. You know what I'm saying? So many people out there that believe in me just because that's where I came from.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of try not to respond to the messages on Facebook because the more I respond, then the more they want me to send money and stuff. They think I'm
Yes, exactly.
a
You know
big
I know.
superstar. So they just pretty much just look at my Facebook and say, oh wow, he's doing great, and they think I'm like really rich and I have all this money that I can send to them. So when I see it, I just gotta say thank you and just keep it short so that
Yeah.
next level. But one of the things I really want to do is when God takes me to where I need to be is go back home and start kind of like a foundation for young people who are into music. One thing about Nigeria is the fact that in all of Africa, Nigeria is the number one place for entertainment. Like that, there's no doubt, is the number one place for entertainment. So being able to go into that industry and impact them with integrity, being able to teach them ways to do music that you don't have to go into different routes that is not gonna bring, like there's negative music that's out there and then there's
Yeah.
positive. I'm not talking about Christian or non-Christian. It's just
Right.
positive and
Exactly.
it's negative. So I feel like so many times like people can just watch TV and watch the internet and start getting into that negative side, giving out the wrong messages like doing drugs and all that stuff. So I feel like it'll be really cool if I can come up with like a foundation or just something like that to where I can help impact like young musicians back in
Yeah.
Africa
Yeah.
who might not have equipment, might not have studio and all that stuff and coaches to teach them how to write and stuff, and I'll have a place where they can come in and be creative. You know what I'm saying? And teach them ways to do that in a positive light, and they don't have to do anything negative and bring anybody down to make themselves look good, but just teach them ways to do music the right way, if that makes sense. And also like if I get to the place where I want to be, and I'll be able to like bring maybe some major artists to come out and kind of share with people out there, what they're doing, maybe people that they look up to already,
Yeah.
kind of like help them see that okay, this stuff is possible. You don't have to, you don't have to do drugs. You don't have to, do all that stuff that's negative to make yourself sound good in a song. Like you can be sincere from your heart and speak positivity. You know what I'm saying, and have a great time with your music. So that's one of the things that I want to do, and I have so many other ideas that I want to, take back home and implement and stuff. So, but hopefully that's the first one. That's the first thing that I'm going to be looking to do as God elevates me and stuff. So,
Great. One of the things I want to ask you, I know you're in college, and I
yeah,
know your major is business. Your major is business, and I think one of the things that artists forget is that when you are an artist, you're running a business.
right.
And so, is that why you decided to major in business, or did someone suggest that? Kind of how did you go that route?
Okay, so yes, like when I was coming to college, I was really contemplating like if I wanted to go to college or not, because I really believe that this is what God has given me. This is my passion, and this is what I want to chase and stuff. So I was really, really struggling if I want to go to college or not, or just stay home and pursue the music. And I go to Lipscomb, so the money there is not really, it's not a joke.
Right.
So, I was trying to think like, okay, if I take that money that I'm putting into Lipscomb and put into the music, which I feel like would help my music a lot. But at the same time, there's just some experiences that you learn from school and and stuff like that that you can never get anywhere. You
Exactly.
so many people, so many connections that I've met too is from my school today. So I decided to do business because I talked to a bunch of people who are already in the music industry, and they were like, "Yo, you need to know the business side of everything.
Absolutely.
Everything you do today like has business involved in it. There's a business part of it, so you need to at least learn the basics of business. That way, you're going to be thinking smart. You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to be jumping into anything. You're going to be smart. You're going to use your time wisely, stuff like that. So, so I took business because I just really wanted to get myself ready as a businessman. Music, but I'm a musician, but also a business person. Like, and that way I can also pay attention to what's going on as far as my business. Like, even if I have a manager, I want to be hands on to where I know what's going on. I'm signing every check, all that.
I need you to sign every check. I need you to sign every check.
I think I heard that from you, actually. I don't know.
People have gotten in trouble by handing something over to a manager and thinking that everything is fine. You always should have your hands in the work that you're involved in. And so that business piece, that's why I wanted to ask. I want young people to understand, even if you're in the music industry, you need to understand the business side of that music industry. If you're in the fashion industry or the boot, you need to know the business side of what's happening there. So thank you, Michael. Aisha, I'm going to come to you and ask you the same question about why did you decide to go into the field that you're in on your career side, and what made you want to start your boutique and selling jewelry?
Okay. Well, one thing that is I see a common thread between my counseling field area is that helps individuals to feel better. Well, even on, I guess, my entrepreneur side, as opening up a business, an online boutique selling accessories, it's the same thing. It makes people feel good. When people look, when they look good, they feel good, and they perform better. And so that, I think, for me, is just genuinely who I am, and God's purpose in my life is to help people feel better. And then on top of that, every time, it's kind of funny how I got into selling accessories. Every time I went to get dressed, my outfit was incomplete because I didn't have any accessories to wear. And so I always had to make that run to, New York and Company or Target to grab some accessories. And so that was one reason I said, you know what, I need to start an accessory business. And then the other thing that really put a little passion up under my feet is someone told me that I couldn't.
That would make you do it for sure.
Yes. So I know it doesn't sound like everybody else's, but for me, somebody challenging me and telling me something that I couldn't, when I know God told me I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I wanted to show them, like, you know what? Yes, I can do this, and I am doing it. I have to beboldbechic.com. Go on the website. I am doing it.
You better promote your stuff. You better.
So that for me, and I started selling the accessories, and then God began to expand the business. He gave me more ideas to do a bridal collection. So I launched a bridal collection, so now I'm helping brides, not just within the city of Nashville, in the state of Tennessee, but just all over, and so that has been a blessing. So now I'm traveling a little bit more, and it continuously, from me just stepping out on faith and using the word, yes, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. God has truly opened up the doors for me to have more opportunities, and as far as giving back, now I've been called, when you wear a jewelry piece, especially when it's a Be Bold, Be Chic statement piece, like my jewelry is, it causes conversations because people want to know, where did you get that? They want to know who you are, what do you do, and so it has opened up a door for even ministry opportunities, and now even opportunities of what did you do to become an entrepreneur. So now God is opening up doors for me to even go into the colleges. I'll be going to Fish University, doing an entrepreneur social event talking about young women in entrepreneurship, as well as going into a homeless shelter talking to young women about forgiveness, all just based off of a jury piece, a statement piece. So God has really, really opened doors, and so that's what kind of, sparked my passion. Somebody telling me that I couldn't.
Somebody challenging you and telling you can't will always make you jump out and go do it and show them that just like you said, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And I know for me, my faith means a lot. I think a lot of times when we're Christian and we're faith-based people, that we think the only place we can do ministry is in the church. But a lot of times God is using us in the marketplace. He's using us in the music industry. He's using us in the medical field. And so we have to really see ourselves as ministry in the marketplace and not just in the church. And I will always work at my church, but I know a lot of my work is done with business people, and some of them are not even Christian. But the Lord will connect me to them, to work with them, and the light that we share, the light that we show, will ultimately have them asking you questions. And so God can use us anywhere. And I want to close out by having you share about one person that inspired you. Aisha, will you put yours on mute for a minute? Thank you. Um, talk about one person as you were growing up that inspired you, that you even think about today when you're going through things or when you're working in your business. What is that one person that you remember that really encouraged and inspired you as you have been taking this journey? Michael, I'm going to come to you first.
Okay. For me, I think there's two people that you want me to give two of them or just one?
You can give two. You can give three. You can give whatever you want to give. Yes.
Well, there's two main people right now that kind of like inspired me, especially when I was younger. One person that I really looked up to as far as the music side was Michael Jackson.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I just love his heart. Like his heart, it was just someone that loved genuinely. You could tell. Of course, he had his whatever personal issues, but
Yes.
I still feel like the heart was still very visible. Like it was still
Yeah.
something he couldn't hide, no matter what his personality was and whatever he was going through in his family and whatnot. Like his heart was just something that showed through his music, through his actions, through his
Yeah.
work. And that's just something that I want to do. Like I said, there's so much I want to do for my country when God takes me to a place where I can actually have a voice and stuff. There's a lot of stuff I want to use that voice for.
Yeah.
Stuff. And then somebody else that inspires me is my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, like I feel like you need to have someone so close to you that motivates you. And for
Yeah.
me, I don't have a kid yet. Thank God, and have a and I don't have a wife yet or anybody that close. But my family is the closest thing to me right now,
Uh-huh.
and I'm grateful to have my mom here. I lost my dad some years ago, but my mom is like one of the persons that really inspires me. She makes me want to be better in a
Yeah.
sense because I just know she's been through so much for me as a kid, and she hasn't really enjoyed like the fullness of that, of of that labor. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I really wanna make it and bring that home to her as a gift, if that makes sense.
Yes. I
Now,
love that.
I know there is no top, and when you get to the top, you still got to go somewhere. You still got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's really not a top, but I really want to get to a place that I can just support her, especially financially, and just her proud of me. Do what
Yeah.
I love, and her seeing me succeeding in the things that I love to do. I feel
Yeah.
like that's success, and that's really what I want to achieve. In this lifetime before she leaves before our time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's those are two people that inspires me. Michael Jackson on the music side, and then my mom as far as becoming like a better person and taking my music to the next level. Like that, my mom is like the number one person that inspires me. So
I love that, Michael. You know I love that. You know I have a son. I love when I hear that about anybody, whether it's female or male, and that their mother was a role model. You can have other people, and I have many people, but it's awesome to hear you say that. I really love that. Regine, I'm going to come to you. Who has inspired you and encouraged you to keep going and to do what you're doing?
I can think of about 4 people right now,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna have to start with my grandmother. Okay, I share my story. My grandmother actually she passed away March 19th of last year, and she was our backbone. My mother has seizures, so my mother hasn't really been able to take care of us. I think we took care of our mother more than she's been able to take care of us. So my grandmother has stepped in. This is the same woman that has raised 8 of her own children by herself because her husband passed away. I'm not sure how far ago. I've never met him, but she raised her own 8 kids, and then she's raising her grandkids. And what does this woman does for a living? You know, she walks every morning. I will say about 4 a.m. and you should see the distance that she has to walk just to
Wow.
make. We have we call it akasa. Like, it's like a cornmeal, but we normally have it for breakfast, and that's all she did for a living. So think about the amount of time it takes her, and she carries that big thing, and it's hot because you have to make it hot. She carries it on her head and walks all the way down to almost where I went to school to support not just her children, but support us as well. I didn't have no needs. I had everything. I had breakfast. She always makes sure we had everything we need. So she is my inspiration. Entrepreneur side, you can see where that came from.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And I love her to death. It was unfortunate that she passed away last year, but I think her legacy will live on, not just through me, but through my sister. Um, I'm gonna get to my mom last, but the second person is my uncle. My uncle, he was an engineer. I swear he was the father of every children that lived in our city. If the children needs to go to school, it's him. They come to him. Hey, mother don't have any money to take us to send us to school. He was that person. It
Uh-huh.
don't matter what it was. Any kids comes to him and say, hey, I need this. If he doesn't have it today, he'll give them a day. Hey, come back and see me next week. And to me, it's just like that one person that shares the wealth, I guess. And he was never selfish. If he's driving his car, he sees somebody walking, hey, hop on, where are you going? I'm gonna take you. And it's just I missed him. And then my auntie, sorry, I had to think about those 4 people in my head real quick. She was actually going to nursing school, and she never made it because she passed away. She passed away really young. I would say she was like 22,
Wow.
23. And she was a hard worker, but she passed away suddenly. We still don't know how or why. But look at this, her legacy lived on, and I am a nurse today, so I finished it up for her. So God is good. And
Yes.
then my mother should have been first, but I have to say last. But she's my everything. My everything. You know, crying. Stop.
Don't cry. Don't do
And it's just to see somebody go through so much. And I feel like my mother is my own angel on earth. Like, seriously. I've never seen her in any altercation with anyone. All she does, my mama would cook, clean, and if you don't hear from her, she's reading her Bible, and that's all she does. And I really feel that I'm alive because of this woman, like how much she prays for me. She may not have much to give me because she can't work, because she's disabled. She can't work, but I know her love for me is just more than I can ever ask. She's always calling, checking up on me. Have you ate today? Because my mother lives with my sister in Arkansas, so I don't really get to see her much, but she is everything to me. I don't know how I would live without her in my life and her prayers and everything else. So there's just some of the people that have shaped me, with my grandmother being on top. But yeah, thanks to them. And I'm thankful for my mentor, Sharon Pendleton, that has kind of carried on with everybody being away. So she has stepped in. She's a nurse also. She works at Vanderbilt. So she's been that person for me lately. So I'm just so thankful for everybody around me that's just being pushing me like, hey, what are you doing? You need to change this. So I'm so grateful.
Great. Thank you. Aisha, who's that person for you?
Okay, there's a couple of people. The first one I'll start with is my mom. Oh my goodness. My mom from a young age have always encouraged me, to go far, to be a businesswoman, she always used to say there's nothing that you can't do. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And so definitely my mom. My next person I would say is my little boy. Oh my goodness. When I see him, it makes me want to go further. Oh my goodness, just my baby. Oh, I love him so much. And then last but not least, I would have to say, and I didn't say this prior to, I'm a former foster child. And so, foster children across America, I'm doing this for you. I am showing you, there's so many statistics that say we're in trouble, that we're not doing anything, we're not graduating, we're not being successful. You hear all the bad things, but I'm doing it for every foster child to let them know, you can do it, you can graduate from high school, you can go on and get a college degree, an advanced degree. You can write books. You can even be a business owner. So I'm doing it for all you foster children out there.
Great. Thank you guys for joining me for Table Talk. We do Table Talk monthly. We're coming and talking about business strategy. We're talking about entrepreneurship, family, and faith. And so I thank you all for joining me. I know
Thank
you have
you.
inspired some young people out there to keep going. Aisha, I was so glad that you shared that because there are many children that have been in the foster care system that they do think there's no hope. There's young people on college campus don't think they can make it. But when they hear your stories, they hear how hard you guys are working and the things that you're doing and how you are moving to that next level because of hard work, because of time management, because you're writing that plan out, you're connecting with people that can help you. And that's how it works. We don't make it alone. There are going to be many people that come alongside of us to help us go to that next level. And so I thank you guys for sharing your stories to those that can take those stories and help them go to the next level. So thank you again for joining me for Table Talk, and I will talk with you guys soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great night. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.